Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Bev's Footy Tips. It's great to have your company. I hope you all had a happy and safe Easter, and I hope you all enjoyed round 5 of the 2022 AFL season. It was a good round of footy, but now we move on to round 6, the Anzac round, of course, featuring the traditional Anzac Day blockbuster clash between Essendon and Collingwood. So looking forward to the round ahead. Let's get straight into the video. Lots to get through. Let's start the video as we always do by taking a look at who won the Bev Show tipping comp for the previous round, round 5. Couple of winners this week, 2 winners to be exact. It's a big congratulations to the Burnout. The Burnout won the tipping this week. Can you believe that? And also a big congratulations to Edward the Fred Ward. They both correctly guessed 8 out of the 9 matches correct, and they were both 1 point off the margin. So a big congratulations to those two. The Burnout, if you don't know who he is, he runs a Facebook, a TikTok page called The Bunk Out with the Burnout. He's also my commentary partner most weeks during the AFL season, and we are commentating this Friday night, GWS taking on St Kilda, which you can find through the Bev Show Facebook page. And also a big congratulations there to Edward the Fred Ward. So, whoa, you beauty to the both of you! And taking a look now at the overall leaderboard, so Prout House still leads with 33 tips. He is ahead of Hayden Burke, who's second, also on 33 tips. Then Talking AFL third, also on 33 tips. Fourth is Tom Cats, also on 33 tips. And Cade Fagan is fifth, rounding out the top 5 there, also on 33. Let's quickly take a look at how many tips I got right in round 5, starting with Brisbane v Collingwood. I tipped the Brisbane Lions. I tipped the Western Bulldogs. I tipped Sydney. I tipped St Kilda. I tipped Richmond. They're an inconsistent football team, aren't they, the Tigers? Very inconsistent. I tipped Melbourne. I tipped Carlton. I tipped Fremantle. And in the last game of the round, I tipped Geelong. So 7 out of the 9 matches correct. Not too bad. I think most people would have got those games correct. Maybe the Essendon Fremantle game was a bit of a 50-50 tip. I did see a lot of people went Essendon over Freo, so I'm happy I got that one right. But yeah, 7 out of 9, can't complain with that. And that moves me to 28 total tips, but I'm still a fair way behind in the tipping comp. Okay, let's get into my round 6 tips now, starting with the Friday night match. It is GWS taking on St Kilda. 7:50 p.m. start time at Canberra Oval or Manuka Oval or whatever it's called these days. I get confused. But interesting game, this one. GWS, pretty poor start to the season. Out of the 5 games, they've won just the 1 game, and that was against the Gold Coast Suns. They're taking on St Kilda, who have lost just the 1 game and won 4. I wouldn't be surprised if this game is closer than people think, because GWS get Toby Green back and he's going to make a difference. And it wouldn't shock if GWS was to cause an upset. But St Kilda are just in great form at the moment. Better form than I expected. So I can't go past them. I have to tip St Kilda. And I'm going to tip them by... I'm not going to go too big with the margin. I think I'm going to go 2 goals. 2 goals I think is fair. The first of multiple Saturday games begins with the Western Bulldogs taking on the Adelaide Crows. 1:45 p.m. start time. This game to be played at Mars Stadium at Ballarat. Good to see footy back at Ballarat and hopefully in front of a healthy crowd as well. The Western Bulldogs, I really liked what I saw from them against North Melbourne last round. I know it was only against North Melbourne. Please don't comment that in the comments. I know it was only against North Melbourne. But, they just moved the footy a little bit better. They were obviously more accurate in front of goal. And I just thought it was a promising performance from the Western Bulldogs. And I'm hoping that they can build on that now and go on with it. It's not going to be easy, though, against the Adelaide Crows, who are in good form. They're obviously thriving off getting Taylor Walker back. He's playing some really good footy since returning, and that win against Richmond last week was very, very good. So, not going to be an easy game for the Dogs, but they should be able to win this, I think. I do expect them to win, and I'm hoping they do, so I'm tipping the Dogs to beat the Crows. Go the Doggies! The Saturday twilight match is at 4:35pm. It's between Port Adelaide and the West Coast Eagles. It is at the beautiful Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide, of course, went 0-5 last weekend for the first time in their club history, and they're up against the West Coast Eagles this weekend, who aren't going much better. They've only won just the one match from 5. Obviously, COVID playing a bit of a role in those losses, I suppose, but they didn't have any excuse to lose the way they did to Sydney last week, I don't think, although Sydney are just a level or two above the Eagles and probably a level or two above Port Adelaide in all due respect. But getting back to this game and getting back on topic, I think Port Adelaide can win their first game of the season this week. I just think that second half against Carlton last week was promising, and if they can play like that for 4 quarters, then they should be beating West Coast at Adelaide Oval, which is, of course, their home turf. So Port Adelaide, I'm tipping them to finally get on the board in season 2022. The Saturday night game is an absolute ripper. Fremantle taking on Carlton, 2 rising teams of the competition. 7:40pm start time at Optus Stadium. Both teams sit in the 8. Fremantle, that was a good win against the Bombers last weekend, especially that second half. Like, they were just simply outstanding. Taberner was superb, kicking 7 goals. How good is Andrew Brayshaw? I think he has to be in contention for the Brownlow, especially at this stage in the season. And if he continues playing the way he's playing, then I think he can win the Brownlow. Carlton, well, they got the job done against Port Adelaide last week. They were very good in the first half, but they just continue to fade in second halves. And they're not going to be able to get away with that against a top team like a Melbourne or someone like that. They might not even get away with it against Fremantle this week if they do continue that. Look, given this game is at Optus and given Carlton lost to the Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago in their first interstate trip, it doesn't really give me a lot of confidence if I was to tip Carlton. So I have to go the Dockers, given it's at Optus Stadium. And I just love what I've seen from the Dockers. I've loved what I've seen from Carlton as well, don't get me wrong, but I just think the Dockers, they just might be a little too strong for Carlton at Optus. So Fremantle, my tip there. The first of 3 Sunday matches, it is North Melbourne taking on Geelong at Blundstone Arena, 1:10pm start time. Of course, this game will be played in my hometown, or my home city, I should say, of Hobart. I won't be able to go to this match, though, because I've got some work commitments with racing on Sunday. But getting back to this game, you would think Geelong will bounce back and win this game, like surely. They did verse North Melbourne at Blundstone last year, and it was a closer game than people expected. But I think Geelong, they'll be very, very unhappy with the loss to Hawthorn last week, and they'll be wanting to bounce back, and I think they can against a North Melbourne team who are clearly bottom 4, as we know. At 4:10pm at Metricon Stadium, it is the Q clash between the Gold Coast Suns and the Brisbane Lions. This game to start at 4:10pm. Thought Gold Coast were quite good against St Kilda. They did go on to lose the game last week, but they were in the contest for a while. They were quite competitive, and although Brisbane are a very strong team, I think they're the second best team in the comp behind Melbourne. And I do expect Brisbane to just be a little too strong for the Suns. So tipping the Lions. And we've got some Sunday night footy this week because it's Anzac Day Eve. It's Richmond taking on Melbourne. 7:25pm start time at the MCG. Of course, these two teams have made this time slot their own in recent times. And it's been quite a successful game as well to hold on Anzac Day Eve. I've actually been to one of these games before. And it's always a great spectacle. They have the ceremony in the darkness, and it's very good. But getting back to this game, well, what Richmond are we going to see this week? I mean, we've seen Richmond play very well against the likes of GWS and the Western Bulldogs, but then losing to Adelaide last week, losing to St Kilda the way they did, they're just so inconsistent. They're hard to trust right now. And I don't think they're going to be making the 8 if they're inconsistent the way that they have been. So, look, Melbourne, for me, they're the best team in the comp right now. They're the ones to beat. They're top of the ladder 5-0. Everyone is wondering when they're going to lose their first game. There's been markets everywhere on all the betting sites about with odds of who they'll lose to. I think they will lose a game at some point. I think it's very hard to go through a whole season undefeated. But anyway, getting back to my tip here, I'm going to tip Melbourne to win this one. They should just be too strong for Richmond. Moving on now to Anzac Day, and there's 2 games on Anzac Day this year. It starts at Launceston, a 2-hour drive from where I live, with Hawthorn taking on the Sydney Swans. UTAS Stadium, the venue, 12:30pm is the start time. I will be heading to this game, so I'm looking forward to making the trip up to Launceston and watching these 2 teams play against each other. And I think this game does set up to be an absolute cracker because both teams are in good form. It's at UTAS Stadium where Hawthorn usually plays so well. It's usually a great ground advantage for them. I'm finding this game quite tough to pick. I'm just going to go with the Swans just because I rate the Swans the better team, but wouldn't surprise me at all if Hawthorn were to win this game, and they can. They can win this game. Of course, the Swans are coming into this off the back of a dominant win against the Eagles. They've done a bit of travelling though, albeit they've had a bit of a rest in between the Perth trip and the Tassie trip. Hawthorn, of course, coming into this off the back of a surprising Easter Monday win. But yeah, I do think the Swans are the better team, so I'm going to go the Swans, but not confident with that tip at all. And the final game of the round is the traditional Anzac Day blockbuster at the MCG, 3:20pm start time. It is Essendon taking on Collingwood. Essendon are a train wreck, an absolute train wreck. They can't defend, they can't attack. They are in all sorts this season so far, and if they're going to turn it around, then it probably needs to start with a win against Collingwood on Anzac Day. I can't see it happening. Collingwood were competitive against a strong Brisbane team last week, and if they bring that similar performance, maybe even better, they should be just too good for the Bombers on Anzac Day. So Collingwood, my tip here, but let's hope it's a good game because that's what we want to see. We want to see a good clash between these 2 teams on what is a special day. So just recapping my round 6 tips, I've tipped St Kilda, the Western Bulldogs, Port Adelaide, Fremantle, Geelong, Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, and Collingwood. So there you go, that's another episode of Bev's Footy Tips done and dusted. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below your tips for the upcoming AFL round, and also comment down below your thoughts as well. Love to hear them. And of course, press that subscribe button because it really does help out the channel. Once again, thanks for watching. Enjoy Anzac round 6 of the 2022 AFL season. Bye for now. Go the Mighty Doggies!